Are you sure?
There
Oh,
we go.
there it goes. Okay, cool. What's going on, everybody? This is Thursday night, and you know that means it's time for some more Retro Reload with the East Coast cast and crew. As you can see, we're missing a few people today, but that's all right. We got some fun stuff to talk about, and we're going to make it work. So thanks for joining us. I'm Cashel, as you all know, and with me we have Red Blaze 57 from New Jersey, who will also be going to New York soon for the Comic Con, so that's awesome.
Right on Saturday.
Yeah, in the thick of things. And we also have Dash V, probably driving right now, so we can't see him, but we know he's there.
Yep,
Are we?
I'm being safe, using the hands-free device.
Good, good, good. Well,
Distraction-free.
yeah, exactly.
Way to be.
Yes. Remember, folks, do not podcast and drive. It is very not safe. So, welcome you two. Like I said, we are missing Mr. Nikon, and we're missing Turf, we're missing Bandit Chaos, but that's okay. We will make this work because that's what we do here at Retro Reload. So, yeah, let's get into it. Since we are in the month of October, we kind of thought it'd be a neat idea to maybe go over survival horror games in honor of the Halloween season. And this week, we decided to talk about one that I think everybody knows. When they think survival horror, they usually go immediately to Resident Evil, known as Biohazard in Japan. So tonight, we will be talking about that long-running franchise, the one that's been, around since, oh geez, probably the mid-90s is my guess.
98?
98. Let's
Yeah,
look at the
came
internet
with,
real
with the
quick.
PlayStation.
Yeah. Oh, 96. Wow. 1996 is when the PS1 version came out,
Yep,
according to the internet.
Hmm.
The internet's never wrong. So
never wrong.
Close enough.
yeah,
Well,
you're close. You had the 90s part right. So, but yes, we're going to be talking about Resident Evil. Um,
Resident Evil.
of course, the games are great, but it's also transcended to movies and comics, and I'm sure there's a manga here or there. So,
Actually,
is
I
Red
think in
Blaze
that
on?
respect, it's one of the most.
Yep.
I think it's one of the most successful game franchises. Um, in recent history. Not a lot of
definitely
them were
most
able to make
successful survival
blockbuster
horror.
movies and things like that.
Yeah, they were, and I know the movies got a lot of flack for not having much plot. There being more emphasis on action, but I loved them. I think they're just good,
Yeah,
old-fashioned fun.
I
and that kind of describes every zombie movie ever, right?
eh, I don't know. They kind of lost me when they started to give her powers.
Give Alice powers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also kind of, my friend pointed out all the Alice in Wonderland references.
I didn't.
Well, actually,
Especially with the
I didn't
promotion.
catch. Go ahead.
It, it was mostly into promotional stuff where it was like get Alice out of the rabbit hole or something like that.
Okay.
Who knows?
I didn't. I was gonna say I didn't catch Alice in Wonderland references in the movies, but one of the things that I did think that was interesting was I have. I didn't think about this till just now, but I've always kind of lamented the fact that while you're playing in the later Resident Evil games in the franchise, spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't really been playing through the series, but Albert Wesker, who starts out a team member but later is revealed to be, a villain and in bed with Umbrella Corp. Um, he basically becomes this superhuman, super soldier mutant type guy. So I always kind of, lamented the fact that even as the games evolve on, like none of the hero characters, they don't even have a single character that's on the good side that was part of this Umbrella experimentation, which is kind of limiting to the gameplay. I mean, you can only get so much mileage out of, you've got a shotgun and a machine gun, here's some zombies, what do you do? It would be kind of neat to explore that aspect of maybe Jill or, one of these characters, Chris Redfield or somebody, maybe they get infected and become somewhat superhuman like Albert Wesker. Like, why is it only the villain that can do that? So I think I found it neat in the movies that they went that direction of having the hero actually getting superpowers based on experimentation from Umbrella.
Yeah, but that kind of ruins the survival part for me. And where wasn't that actually the point of what was it, his name, Jake and 6?
I never played 6. That
Oh,
was
I
for the
did
PS3,
not
right?
play 6 actually.
Yeah, me
Oh,
either.
I didn't play 6 because they decided that they made
I'm
a
not sure.
design choice not to support the move. So I made a purchasing choice not to buy the game.
Well, I mean, honestly, I've I haven't really played it, so I'm not even sure if that's 100% accurate. But I remember
Hmm.
that he was supposed to be Wesker's son.
Hmm.
Okay,
Interesting.
is he good or bad?
I think
From
he's supposed
from
to
what?
be. I think he's supposed to be good because isn't he with Sherry through it?
Ah, okay. Hmm.
I,
I'll have to look into that. Though. Is he a
I'm sure
playable
you can look
character, or you don't know, right?
Huh?
Is he a playable character?
Yeah.
Huh. I might actually. You've actually encouraged me to look into the game in spite of the fact it doesn't have move controls.
Well, did 5 and 4 have move controls?
4 did for the Wii,
Oh, yeah, it was
and
the Wii.
5 did for if you got the gold
Gold
edition.
edition, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
amazing. It
Jake,
was spectacular.
Jake Mueller, illegitimate son of Albert Wesker and associate of Sherry Birkin.
Hmm. Interesting.
Nice.
So, let me ask you guys first. What was your first experience with this series?
Um, for me, it
Yeah,
was Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube when I first actually played it.
that was your first time seeing anything with Resident Evil in the title?
Well, I've known about it, but
Yeah.
I had never actually played it until 4.
Okay. Hmm. That's a great one to start with, by the way. So you kind of got spoiled.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a spectacular one to start with. I could see it being hard to go back to the originals
oh
after
yeah.
having played if you're starting with 4.
Dash V, what was your first Resident Evil?
My first Resident Evil was the first Resident Evil. I played
All
it on
right.
my uncle's PlayStation. I played it on my uncle's PlayStation, and I had to promise my parents that I would not wake them up if it gave me nightmares.
My first
So I
Resident Evil
remember,
was, that was mine as well. So
yeah,
right there with you.
I remember I would go to Grandma and Grandpa's because at the time my uncle lived with his mom and dad. I would go to Grandma and Grandpa's and everyone else would be wanting to watch football and all this other stuff, and I'd just be like, Uncle Frank, can I please play Resident Evil? And he's like, sure, because he had the PlayStation was in his room, so I'd go in his room and be playing Resident Evil, and my sisters would go in there and they'd watch. And what was funny was because 3D was all new to us then, right? So my sister's sitting there watching, and she and I would get like so in the game. There was this one room, I don't remember what room, but there's several doorways in the hallway. And I go running past this doorway, and my sister yelled, "Chris, stop, come back!" And I turn and I look at her, and I'm like, "I'm right here next to you." And she goes, "Oh yeah." But I mean, and if you look at the graphics now for the original Resident Evil, not any of the remasters, and then you compare it to the remaster, it's like, how could anybody have ever gotten so wrapped up into those games? But that was like the best we had at the time, and it was the first game really for me that like nailed survival horror. That made a game as scary as a horror movie. That was really impressive. And then I just stuck with the series ever since.
Okay, wow. So you've been there since basically its advent. Yeah, like
Every single one, yeah.
yeah, with Resident Evil, the first one, I didn't play it, but that was my first experience with it. I watched someone else play it. It was still very, very scary. Like just the little
Yeah.
things they did, like this loading screen with the door opening slowly, and the fact there was no background music playing, and little things like that. I've never seen a thing like that before in a video game. Most of the games I
Oh
played
yeah.
had fun music and flashy graphics and magic and stuff like that. Not in this, not so much with Resident Evil. You
Oh
know,
yeah. And then the inventory system. I know a lot of people didn't like
God,
it, but the
yeah,
inventory system, I thought the inventory system was interesting the way, like, even if you found plenty of ammo, you couldn't possibly hold enough ammo to just go through guns blazing like you would in, like, Doom or something like that. So you
yep.
really had to, like, manage your inventory, make sure you had enough healing items, make sure that you had enough ammunition to make it at least a little bit. And then you had to do a lot of backtracking to go back and get more ammo or get more healing items. So
Yep.
you really felt like you were trying to survive, the zombie apocalypse versus just plowing through a game.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, thinking back now, I did not know anybody who had any sort of survival horror games at all.
Right.
I was the first one to actually look into them, as far as I could tell, and that was thanks to Nintendo Power.
Yeah. So if you haven't heard about it already, Red Blaze, one that you should check out that was PlayStation 1 era and it has yet to get a remaster, Parasite Eve.
I have that.
I played that.
Fantastic game. Yeah, there's 3 of them in the series: Parasite Eve, Parasite Eve
there's
2.
only 2 in the series.
And then there's one called Third Birthday.
The Third Birthday.
Third Birthday is for PSP.
I know. Yeah, I mean, I got the first 2 right up on my shelf here. I know that 2 is supposed to play more like a Resident Evil game.
Yeah, 2 plays more. Yep, you got it. Exactly.
So I just never knew anybody who had any sort of survival horror games before I actually looked at
Resident Evil?
Nintendo Power and saw Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, I think
I knew
Resident
about
Evil
the genre,
really defined the genre.
Yeah, I knew about it, but Resident Evil kind of, in some ways, really helped shape it, at least for Western audiences. I mean, Japan had, Clock Tower and stuff like that before Resident Evil came here.
Clock Tower over here.
Come again?
Could you imagine if we got the original Clock Tower over here?
Oh, for the Super Nintendo?
Yeah.
No, I could not imagine that.
What is Clock Tower?
Red Blaze, you want to take it away, or?
It's basically a point-and-click horror game.
Yeah.
Where you're trying to run away from a guy with a giant pair of scissors.
It's and then it was remade for the PlayStation. That one did come out in the States, and it's still point and click, but it has awful PS1 graphics, kind of like Resident Evil, actually. And it's more about surviving. There's no fighting. It's either I call it trial and death instead of trial and error, because you mess up, then you kind of die.
Oh wow, like Shadowgate.
Yeah. So there's so far there's 3 and kind of a 4th one. Clock Tower 2, I think, did even worse here in America. But Clock Tower 3 for the PlayStation 2, that plays more like a regular third-person survival horror game. And I really want to try it. It looks like a lot of fun. So, but that's another topic for another time. I have another question for both of you. This time we'll start with Dash V. Which is your favorite Resident Evil in the series?
Oh wow, I have to say it's honestly a toss-up between Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 5. I mean, the controls were just spectacular, and it was just a variety in gameplay. What I really loved about 4 and 5 both was when you're done with the game, you're not done with the game. There was so much extra content, so many unlockables. I still haven't unlocked everything in both of either games.
Well, let me ask you, which version of 4 did you play? Did you say you played the Wii version?
I played the Wii version of 4. I actually own both the Wii and the GameCube version. I started the GameCube one, and I just didn't. The thumbstick controls just didn't work for me. And then when it came out for the Wii, I decided to buy it and give it a chance with the Wii remote controls, expecting it to be a fail. I was pleasantly surprised. I thought it was a really good fit, and I ended up playing through the game, and I think I'm about 85% complete with it. I've unlocked almost everything, but not quite. I mean, I played the hell out of that game. And then, like I said, I downloaded the demo for Resident Evil 5 when it first was launching, and it was the same thing. Thumbstick controls, I just couldn't. I couldn't go back after the Wii. And then when they announced the Gold Edition, I ran out and I bought it. Actually, that's not true. I heard the Gold Edition. I heard it had Move controls. I still didn't bother with it. It was when I got it free with PlayStation Plus. I got it free with PlayStation Plus. I downloaded it, played it. I bought Move controls just so I could play it with the Move controls, and then I loved it so much I went to a used game store and I bought the Gold Edition.
Wow,
so that I would
that's
own
dedication.
It permanently. Yeah, even after because I don't want to lose it when I lose my PSN account. So, yeah, they did it really good.
Just kidding. Red Blaze, what's your favorite Resident Evil in the series?
Devil May Cry.
That doesn't count.
That doesn't count. That's not Resident Evil.
It started out as a Resident Evil game.
Did it really?
Did it really?
Yeah.
Proof.
They changed
Proof.
it.
Pixar didn't happen.
Because, ironically, even though the later games have gone down the road, they changed it because it was getting more action oriented.
Huh.
Ah, do you have links, references that you can put in the doodly doo after the show so people can go? I'd love to read up on that. I never knew that.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
it's
it says it right here. You're right. You are so right. Wow. I'm just on Wikipedia, so.
Yeah.
Interesting.
but yeah, no, I mean, now an honest answer, I guess it would be a toss up between 4 and Revelations.
Now, what's Revelations? We talked a little bit about 4. What's Revelations?
Revelations is, think of it as sort of a split for how Resident Evil plays. Like you got 5 and 6, which are more action oriented,
Yeah.
and where the Revelation series has a bit more of the actual horror element in it.
Okay, so do you still have to, like, is it more like survival based than action based?
Yeah,
Would you say?
a little bit, little scarcer on the ammo, but still enough to where you could still play for fun.
Okay, cool.
But I mean, like the first one, the main part of it is that you're on an abandoned ship, and where the second one, Claire gets captured with Barry's daughter,
Okay.
and where I'm currently playing through that right now.
Oh, okay, cool. Very cool. I'd have to say
You know,
my favorite Resident Evil would be, just like Dash, it's going to be Resident Evil 4. Having gone through like tank-like controls and being annoyed by them, the over-the-shoulder sight system and just watching Leon Kennedy be a total badass it was such a breath of fresh air, and it was a lot of fun. You know, just good
I can't
old-fashioned
tell you
fun.
how many times I heard Leon.
Are you talking about Ashley, the president's daughter?
Yeah,
Yep.
that
God.
got kind of old, but that's a
Well,
small nitpick.
you know, what doesn't get old is putting a landmine, like one of those landmines you can shoot, on her face and watching it detonate. That shut her up.
Wow,
Wow.
this shit turned dark quick.
Well, you know,
I never tried that. I never tried that, but I can say like I beat the game enough times to where I got like her in the knight's armor,
Oh yeah, I remember that.
which makes her
Yeah.
totally indestructible, and then I would just stand there and I'd shoot her with the rocket launcher repeatedly because she's invincible and it doesn't hurt her.
You got it easy there. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, I played through Resident Evil 4 originally on the GameCube. I love the GameCube controls. I
Yeah.
don't know why. In fact, I actually went and gave my friend the GameCube copy when I got the PS2 copy, and I did not. Where I regretted that decision almost immediately
Yeah.
because I hated playing on the PS2 controller for that.
I didn't mind either or, cause I just think the game was so much fun, you know.
I
I
think I'm
don't
going to
know.
actually update my answer, though, on the favorite one. I think
Okay.
I'm going to have to give the nod of favorite. It all depends. If it's single-player experience, I'm going to say my favorite is still solidly Resident Evil 4.
Okay.
If you're talking multiplayer experience, I love playing Resident Evil 5 with my... We've been playing this since he was 10 years old, with my son. He's now 12, but we played through every co-op mission for Resident Evil Mercenaries, I think they call it. And it's an absolute hoot to play with Resident Evil with my son.
Aw.
So
Now wait a minute.
I
Didn't you have a
love that
story
they
for us,
have that
Dash?
multiplayer. What's that?
Didn't you have a story for us about that, or earlier?
Oh yeah. So for a while I couldn't play Resident Evil at all while my son was awake because even to just hear, we're Mormons, so like we try not to like super shelter them, but there's a certain amount of like you can't grow up, a young kid in a Christian household and not get some kind of inadvertent sheltering.
Yeah.
And some of that sheltering was like we don't really watch horror movies. We don't let there's certain ratings that we don't, and I realized, just how this was affecting him when even to just hear Resident Evil, he'd get like all scared. Like he'd be up in his room and he'd be like, "Can you please not play that? Because I haven't fallen asleep yet, and now I'm scared." Like just knowing that I was like gonna play a scary game like made him scared. So like one day I was like, "F this." I'm like, "Son, sit down, right?" And I hand him the PlayStation controller, and he's like, "What?" And I go, "We're gonna shoot some zombies." And then, dude, like, Mom, he's making me, and she's like, I can't control him, right? And so we play some mercenaries. I set him up so he's got the backpack with the Gatling gun, so he's got like infinite ammo. And I gave him all the armor and everything, so he was not indestructible, but it took a lot to kill him versus me. So and we just played through some mercenaries and everything. That night, that first night, he has a nightmare, right? He wakes up, he's screaming, he comes running into the room, jumps in bed, I'm scared, and he's like 10 years old. He's like, I'm scared. I had a dream about zombies, right? And I wasn't really thinking because it's like 3 a.m. And I go, son, go back to bed. You're not sleeping with us. He's like, but I'm scared. I go, if you have another dream about zombies, just say to yourself, I have a rocket launcher. And he's like, okay, right? The next morning, Dad, I had some more nightmares and they were awesome. He's like telling me how to all this stuff. So like, but before that, like as he goes, she's like, did you just tell him to go back to sleep? And if he has a nightmare, say he has a rocket launcher? I'm like, yeah. She goes, you're the worst father ever. And then the next day, I'm like, who's the worst father ever? And she's like, whatever. But so yeah, that was Resident Evil was like Resident Evil 5 was my son's introduction into survival horror anything. And now he can't get enough of the genre. He absolutely loves it. I came home yesterday and he was reading the instruction manual for Parasite Eve going, Dad, when are we going to play this?
Oh, Parasite Eve, that's a good one to play too.
Yeah,
I like it.
So I guess I have to say Resident Evil 5, my favorite.
Okay.
So
as the years kind of went on with the series, it kind of relied more on action instead of surviving and the jump scares and that sort of thing. So
yeah,
does everyone
puzzles.
have kind of like a favorite moment? Well, maybe not necessarily like a favorite, but like one that you recall where you just like, oh my God, like holy crap, what the hell was that? You jumped out of your seat, something crazy just happened.
When I first ran into the Los Regenerados.
Into a what?
The Los Regenerados.
Oh, the regenerators?
Yeah.
Oh God, those were freaky, weren't they?
Yeah, because I was just playing dark room near midnight, just the glow of the TV. That's all that I had, and where I'm just playing, and where I get up to the area where you need to get like a key or something.
And this is Resident Evil 4, by the way, people, in case you're wondering. Yeah.
And where all of a sudden I see this new enemy, it grabs me, I'm shaking the controller, trying to break loose, then break loose, shoot it with a shotgun, and where then all of a sudden it's just starting to regenerate. And I'm like, oh my God.
God, I love it.
Again, and then kills me.
Yeah, those things, like, I remember, and you first kind of see them through like this looking glass type of thing,
They're ugly.
Oh yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're not cute in the slightest bit,
And where then later you run into their more advanced forms, the Iron Maidens, and where it's like, oh crap, it's another one of those things. Oh my God, they got spikes!
Not only that, but you had to protect Ashley. You had to make sure you have enough rifle ammo. You had to make sure you have that heat sensor thingy for your rifle. Oh man, it's like panic mode when run into one of those things.
I totally forget if you can actually defeat them with a rocket launcher.
I don't know.
You can.
You can?
Okay.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, well that's promising.
I played.
Dash V, do you have a favorite moment that kind of sticks out in your head about that?
Yeah, my favorite moment would definitely have to be Resident Evil 4, The very first village that you get to, the when you get into the cabin where you find the shotgun,
Yeah.
and then you slowly hear the ripcord being pulled on a chainsaw, and you hear the chainsaw sputtering and sputtering, and then finally you just hear the chainsaw fully roar to life, and it's in the distance, but it gets closer and it gets closer, and you can pile up bookshelves and all this other stuff in front of the windows and in front of the door, but then this guy comes chainsawing through the door, through the bookshelf, and then just all hell breaks loose, right? So you run up, you can unload on him right there, or you can. I ran up to the roof, thinking I'm smart, and I'm like, ha 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 ha, and then the son of a bitch can jump from the ground onto the roof, and I'm like, what? And I was so shocked that he did that I'm just like sitting there like jaw dropped, and then they started like messing with you, right? And he starts getting closer to you with the chainsaw until all you can see is this burlap sack over his face. You see the chainsaw, you see blood spewing from what must be your body, right? And then a weird thing happens. The Wii remote controls start to shake, and they get less and less responsive as the screen fades to a bloody black. Until ultimately
he cut.
Yeah, and then the "You Died" screen is your head pops off, goes into the foreground. You see your head hit the ground, go rolling, and then the camera comes out and you see your body fall over, and then it says you died. I put the controllers down. I didn't even bother to turn off the console. I just went straight to bed. I was like, F that. And I had to wait a couple of days before I could actually pick it up and play it, because I felt like somebody had literally just, I felt like that scene in Saving Private Ryan, right? Where he's like, you got the guy slowly putting the knife through the guy's chest and just going, shh. And the guy's like screaming and yelling, and the other guy's just like, as he slowly plunges. It was like so freaky. Again, the only time a game ever really reached out to me and freaked me out as much as a really well done movie.
Yeah.
That was Resident Evil 4, right?
That was 4.
Resident Evil 4, yep.
I want to make sure, because I remember first time running into one of the chainsaw guys in the beginning, not knowing that there was a shotgun that I could actually grab. And we're just...
Even when you grab the shotgun, it's not like you have like an advantage. This guy takes a lot of ammo to kill.
Yeah, but at least you can knock him down with a shotgun.
Yeah, that's true. You can knock him down, run up and knife him, then run back, then repeat.
Running your first playthrough, because you're freaking out.
Yeah.
Trying to shoot him with a pistol.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
there were some other moments though. Like Resident Evil games were full of those moments. But that was like an extended moment, which is why I loved it so much. There were a pretty good job of building to the moment, I thought. There was this one in Resident Evil 1. You get to this basement area, and there's like a fish tank. And you're like, okay, whatever. There's like a fish screen. There's a shark in this, right? And you walk through this corridor a couple times as you're doing your back and forth, getting different items, solving puzzles and stuff. And then something happens, I don't remember what, and the fish tank shatters. And in order to get out of that basement area, you have to walk back through the hallway that you now know is flooded with water from the aquarium. And there's a live shark inside waters. So you're like, oh shit, something's gonna go down.
Okay, I don't play that. I forget that part. But
I mean, how the hell do you have a zombie game with killer sharks? That's amazing. That's great. That's great game design right there.
And you know what? Going back to 4 again, you got the lake monster where before you even get into the
monster?
boat. Yeah.
Which one?
4.
No, which monster? I didn't hear what monster you said.
One in a lake.
Del Lago. Yeah.
Before you go into the boat, if you shoot into the water a few times, he'll actually come up and just kill you right there.
Wow, I didn't know that.
You can't run away? You can't evade that?
No.
Oh, jeez.
You just shoot it through the water a few times, and where all of a sudden he just comes up and swallows you whole.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I gotta go back and try that now.
Put, in every unfair advantage you can think of, Leon was a part of that. The poor thing. Speaking of which, did either of you two play Resident Evil 2? That also has Leon in it.
Yes.
I
Loved it. That was the one where you're going through the police station, right? That looks surprisingly a lot like the mansion from the first game.
Yeah. So the moment that I think of when I think of like, these scary moments, if you choose to play as Leon, because you could play as either Leon or Claire, uh, the first time you're going through, I think the police station, like you said, Dash, you're walking, the camera pans a different way, and as you're walking, something slowly slithers across the window, like clearly it's
Yeah.
a monster. And I'm like, okay, well, this game is very linear, so I have to proceed. So, all right, let's see what this is. And I was not expecting what I saw. I think the enemies are called lickers.
I was like, is he going to talk about the liquor? Yeah, go
The
ahead.
very first
Go
liquor.
ahead.
Yep. And you find before you fight one, you find this document about these things that use their tongues and that
Yeah.
harpoon you. I'm like, okay, we're gonna see one of these things, aren't we? I didn't expect to see it like this. You see like this silhouette walk across a window, and then this thing crashes down, and you're like, oh crap, you know?
Yeah, that's one thing that I do like about Resident Evil. It will give you information about the creatures, but you're still not completely prepared.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's
Like-
in some ways, I think them giving you information like adds to the terror because you're like, holy shit, I do not want to see this thing. I do not. I don't want to. Can I just skip that one? Like, oh shit, there it is. Oh my god. Here we go.
Yeah, and I think the liquors came back in 5, if I'm not mistaken. Or was 2 the only time they were there? I can't remember now. It's been a
I
while.
honestly don't remember. Like the problem with playing all of them all the way through is after a while the games kind of blur together. Do you know Red Blaze?
I'm trying to think right now. They might have came back in 6.
I still haven't played 6. Like I
I
heard
don't-
bad
I
things
don't-
about 6.
I don't believe that they're exclusive. I don't think that they're exclusive to
Yeah, no. Definitely not exclusive. I mean,
to
that's
4
kind of been,
or to 2.
that's kind of the
But
iconic.
what's the one where there's a whole? There is one of them. Is it 4 or 5 where there's like a whole like you get to this one area and there's all these like cells with bars on them and all that other stuff, and there's just tons
5.
of locked up.
Yeah,
liquors
that
and
is
stuff.
5.
Is that 5?
Now that I remember,
I will say that
you're going through and where
yeah.
you actually fight
Yeah.
liquors in that.
Okay, so they do come back. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They kind of nerfed them though a little bit. Like
Yeah.
they still took a
That's
ridiculous
not
amount of
me.
ammo to kill, but I guess what I mean by that was like they nerfed the scary factor on them. Like somehow they were there and they were hard to beat, but they weren't scary. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I think they look different in 5 than they did in 2, and somehow to me they looked less threatening. They were still difficult to kill, but they just didn't have the fear factor in 5 that they had in 2. But maybe that was just me.
And that's a thing. That's like one of my critiques about Resident Evil. Like as the series went on, it hasn't been as scary as it was when it first came out. Now maybe we were all younger when we first tried them, but at the same time, I figure it just seems like they're going more toward like the action approach instead of what's behind this corner, what's behind this door, what's going to happen after I pick up this item.
Yeah, that's why I actually really recommend people check out the Revelations games because they do bring back some of that survival part.
What other
it feels
puzzles
a
in that
lot
one,
more. It feels a hell of a lot more intense than 5 or 6, even 4.
Cool. Other puzzles in that one to solve?
Yep.
Okay, you got the strategy guide.
Yeah.
Red Blaze is always, ready to show off what he's got to the camera. Love it.
Actually, I was going to bring up this guy right here, but
What's that?
is Greg dead?
Oh my god, that is creepy. Dash V can't see that right now, but hopefully you can see it later.
Yeah, in this area, all you're hearing is the captain sending out an SOS, and near the end, it just kind of sounds like it's dying out, and where then it starts over, and where you're just hearing that as you approach the communications room, it's just getting louder and louder.
See, I love stuff like that. Like the anticipation, like, oh god, what's going to happen? And when I played 4 and 5, and just 4 and 5, feels like that anticipation just really wasn't as, I don't know, as apparent.
No,
Maybe?
you're dead on. I get it. They went like certainly the situations were more. I think they traded horror for franticness. I don't know how you would say it.
Yeah,
But like,
panic.
there was a lot more like I spent a lot more time like afraid that I was going to die and afraid that something was going to get me like in a battle, right? But I wasn't afraid of the environment as much as I was in the original game. So I maybe the ways to put it is like there was more situational horror, I think, in the other games. But the action was kind of frustrating. Like it was frantic because you were frustrated with the tank controls and not being able to do stuff as freely and as quickly as you'd want to do it. Versus in Resident Evil 4 and 5, like the controls I thought were spot on.
Oh yeah.
But now it was like, do I really have the skill to actually take out these monsters and stuff? And most of the situational horror elements were either gone or severely watered down from what we were used to in the earlier games.
I do think that a big problem with 5 was that it actually took place during the day.
Yeah, that's right.
Ruins a little bit of the atmosphere.
Yeah, I forgot about that. It was like broad daylight in Africa, so the sun is beaming. So.
Does anybody remember the big uproar when they released the first video that showed Chris Redfield walking through Africa, unloading on black zombies?
Yes, I remember that.
I remember that.
There was a lot of calls that Capcom is racist, etc.
I also remember a gift of him actually punching one of the zombies, and where somebody made it up so it was Falcon Punch.
That's great.
Wow.
But regarding that racist thing, I think everyone needs to grow the hell up and not take a video game like that so seriously. Come on, it takes place in Africa. What do you expect? So, yeah, lighten up, people. That just made me so mad when people started like oh, Capcom's all racist and stuff. It's like, no, they're not. Shut up.
Well, it was kind of comical too, because then I even saw some people try to argue the other way, but in like ways that made equally less sense, like going, they can't be racist, they're Japanese. It's like, now wait a minute.
God, really?
No race is immune from racism, right? Like, you guys are like absurd, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's crazy. So
I was with you too. Like, just because how do you
say what now?
If you look at, I was with you. Like, if you look at where it takes place, like, what did you expect the zombies were going to be? Right?
Yeah, they're not going to be like gingers, red hair and freckles. So.
Yeah, right. He's going to go to Africa and he's going to take out Australian zombies.
Yeah, he's going to take out pygmies.
Right, yeah.
So the series looks like, based at least on this article, it says they have a new game coming out in 2016 called Umbrella Corps.
Yeah.
So where does everyone hope the series goes from here?
Not down the trail that Umbrella Corps is.
Well, what's Umbrella Corps? Like, do you know much about it?
Do you remember Operation Raccoon City?
I never played that one.
Oh. Well, consider yourself lucky. That was their big attempt at a online shooter.
What system was
On-rail
it for?
shooter. So
Online
I have
shooter.
to.
Like, you had. Ugh.
Was it that bad?
I mean, the AI was completely terrible. There would be times where you have monsters just stuck in the doors. You had times where your teammates were shooting at nothing. I mean, I had one where the guy was shooting right at a door, and where I just actually pushed him to the opening in order for him to actually shoot something down.
That's funny.
and where online you were just constantly getting disconnected.
That is too funny.
Has
Yeah, I never
anybody
played that
played
one.
Left 4 Dead?
No, I have not.
I
Uh,
haven't played it either. I was just wondering if Left 4 Dead suffered from the same issues or if they got it right.
I think that they actually got it right because you never hear people really complain about it.
Hmm.
But I mean, Operation Raccoon City was just terrible. It,
I thought for a second there, I thought you were talking about Umbrella Chronicles, the rail shooter versions of the Resident Evil games, which I think are a huge, huge blast. Those are awesome to play.
those are fun.
Yeah, I played one of those. That
Yeah.
was fun. It's a neat way
Yeah.
to relive the experience.
Yeah, or to live it the first time. Like anybody that's like thinking like, what is Resident Evil? I don't want to jump into a later game because I don't understand all the lore that comes before it. Like, get yourself a copy of Umbrella Chronicles, and I think the sequel was Dark Side Chronicles. That'll get you caught up to pretty close to present, and
Okay.
you know, the graphics are good. The rail shooting is pretty awesome. There's multiple paths, so you can play it a couple of times and still not see everything. I had a blast with that for the Wii, but now I think you can also get it for the PS3, right?
Yeah, but not a physical copy unless you import.
Yeah, you can get it digitally for the PS3, and you can use the PlayStation Move with it, just like you could use the Wii remote. So
But
on
yeah,
the
just to
Weaver.
give you an idea, Operation Raccoon City is average for the three that it was available for about 50
Yeah.
out of 100.
Oh, jeez.
Wow,
Ooh, pain.
you gave it that many?
I'm surprised that it got that many.
Well, with Umbrella Corps coming out, you think it's going to be more along those lines, like a multiplayer shooting game with zombies?
Oh, it is. I mean,
Oh, it is going to be that.
there's no denying it.
Oh, God.
Well,
And
maybe
that's
they'll get it
not
right this
cool.
time, though, right? Like maybe they'll get it right because I mean, if the first one was such a colossal disaster, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, the first one was, well, who developed it? Slant Six Games, I believe, who did the whole, what is it? Yeah, Slant Six Games, which were the guys who originally made the SOCOM series.
Oh.
okay.
Ugh.
I haven't played those games.
Well, we probably need Jeremy for that, I guess.
Fighter pilot, if you're watching this.
So I don't know much about this new upcoming one, other than to say, you know, I'd be willing to check out the reviews and take a look at it. I wouldn't be allergic to a, you know, an online shooter version of Resident Evil if it's done properly, like a proper.
If it's done properly, then I'll get it. I mean,
Right.
I'll at least rent it just to check it out.
Yeah.
Right.
But
I just want to see Resident Evil become jump scary again, not like panic scaring like in 4 and 5. I want to
Yeah.
have that fear of going around the corner again and sort of just worrying about, okay,
check out Revelations.
you what?
Like I said, check out the Revelations stuff.
I will. And I
Can you
recently
get that in
purchased
physical
Evil
copy?
Within as well, so I heard that's kind of like it.
Got
So,
actually the Revelations 2 right here.
oh, it's on PS4. I did not know that.
The original Revelations is on PS3, Wii U, and 360 also.
Okay, cool. Keep that in
I
mind.
do suggest the Wii U version of that one because it is originally a 3DS game. So actually having the second screen is a huge help.
Okay.
Resident Evil Remake is going to get, for PS4, is going to get a physical release. Resident Evil Zero is going to come with Resident Evil 1 Remake.
Oh, really? That's a nice
Yeah.
little bonus.
So I can't wait for that. And honestly,
I'm looking forward to that.
that's probably how I'm really going to actually play through those games because I honestly can't stand to take controls.
Yeah, take controls are. For those that don't know about take controls that might be watching this, you basically have to turn your character, like rotate it, then hit the up button to go forward. Turn again, move forward. Turn again, move forward. It's really, really awkward and tedious. It's
So
awful.
The most frustrating part is when when you go into a room where the orientation, for no adequately explainable reason, is different than what you would expect. Like you go into the room from like an upward direction, and then they do this fixed view of you, like you coming in from like below or from the left. And so if you're still holding on in the direction that you were going, it gets very disorienting because you think you're going to go in one direction, and you end up just like walking in and out of the room like multiple times, going, "What the hell is going on? Is the game broken?" Oh,
No.
now forward means back.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for that. Thanks, Capcom.
Like, I know what they were doing. I think, like, with the different camera views, it maybe added a sense of, realism. Like, okay, this certain area looks best when it's viewed from this vantage point.
Well, with
But
that too, and it was kind of a cheat, right? It was kind
yeah,
of a cheat because if you think about it, and I'll try to find some references to this and put a link in the doodly-doo, but it's the difference between like real 3D like Doom or whatever and fake 3D. So with fake 3D on the PlayStation 1, you could get way better looking graphics and environments than you could if they'd tried to do real 3D texture mapped, spaces and stuff. So really, it looks like you're playing a 3D game because the character's 3D rendered and everything, but the environment that you're walking around is really a 2D environment with very specific, areas that you're boxed into. But they can do really beautiful things to decorate the box because the box doesn't have to move, the camera doesn't have to move. So it was a cheat to enable them to have graphics 2 to 3 times better than what 3D graphics really could be at that time.
yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Although I will say that I'm glad they made the switch to 4. With that, not only the better combat, just the whole being able to fully explore and not be limited to like certain vantage points was such a
Yeah.
nice breath of fresh air because they put a lot of detail in
Absolutely.
some of those stages.
Yeah, absolutely. It's cool to see that in a franchise. That's one of the things that I like about Resident Evil is that it has been around for so long, like 2 decades.
Yeah,
This game's
basically.
been around. It's really cool when you look at Resident Evil Remake for the PlayStation 4, and then you compare it to even the same room. Like you compare it to Resident Evil for the PlayStation, and you're like, there is no way that's the same game. Just wow, like the caliber of the voice acting is way better. The animated, the 3D animation and everything is so much more fluid and lifelike. The ability to deliver, I think, the environmental scares is just so much better that I'm with you, Cash. Like, use the better graphics, use the 5.1 surround sound, use the live rendered 3D graphics to scare me situationally. Give me the jump scares that can only be delivered on current gen. So I think I'm going to have to look up Revelations. Red Blaze has convinced me.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty convinced too. And apparently there's a Revelations 2, so there's 2 things to look forward to getting.
Which, if you really want to look forward to Revelations 2, Barry Burton returns.
Barry Burton. Is he from 1? The very first one?
You were almost a Jill Sandwich. That guy.
That was another great moment, wasn't it? When you take the shotgun off the wall in Resident Evil 1, and then you walk through that like little square of a room, and then the ceiling with the spikes just comes down, and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
No, man.
And you can't always get out of that either. Like, I don't remember what the sequence is, but like depending on when you go into that room and grab the shotgun, there are certain situations in which Barry will not save you in time, and you will die. You're just locked in the room and you die.
Wow, harsh.
So it wasn't always a given that he was going to come save you in that room. So
I think they use that spike
you can see
ceiling in
different
Resident Evil
results.
4 as well. When you're in the castle, there's this spike.
Yeah, but you've got these little points that you shoot at.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that. I'm
Yep.
like, oh, what do I do? Oh, these are glowing. I should shoot them. Okay, good.
Thank God they glow. Whoever made this trap sucks.
Yeah, like.
Actually, what's funny is in Revelations 2, Claire actually references the Jill Sandwich.
Is she really?
Yeah, because there's a part where she she can almost get it crushed, and where you get out of there, and where she's like, yeah, I was almost a clear sandwich, and where you're
Nice.
and where you got Barry's daughter with you, and where she's just like, oh, does my father always tell that story?
That's
Now,
wonderful.
do we want to talk at all about just how much the voice acting's improved?
Do we have enough time? I mean, it's almost 10:30, so
Does anyone remember? Does anyone remember the Resident Evil 1, like just how bad, awful the voice acting was?
Oh God, who doesn't?
that movie.
It was
Oh
the
my
only
God.
game.
So bad that they had to redo it in the remake.
Yes, it was the only game too that it was the only game in the series that had live action for the video sequences.
Yeah, it was so.
And
Oh my
But the
God.
live action was definitely not an asset. Like, it's
No.
amazing how scary the game could be because, like, I would laugh my ass off through the live action sequences, but then I'm scared as hell through all, like, the pixelated, blocky polygon situations.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was
It was, like,
camp.
so weird. Yeah. It's like, shouldn't this be the opposite? Like, all the live action stuff, I should be like, it's so real, wow, it's so scary. And then the game, I should be like, this looks like crap. But instead, it's the opposite. It's like, oh my God, I'm so scared of that shark that's like 3 triangles put together with a great texture map.
Oh yeah, the voice acting has improved so dramatically, and I'm so happy
Stop
about
it.
it.
Don't open
yeah,
that door.
it's still got a little bit of hokiness to it nowadays.
Well, yeah, I
It
mean,
does, but it's way better. It is
Yeah.
so much better.
And sometimes it's just the lines. Such as like the end of Resident Evil 4 where Ashley is trying to get Leon in bed and he's like, no, thank you.
yeah,
Yeah, he's like, you're
I
like
don't blame him.
14.
Yeah,
Yeah, this ain't gonna happen. I think in the Japanese version of the game, she's actually younger than in the American version of the game, isn't she? Because of that fact. I think in the localization, I'll have to go back and read up on this, but I'm pretty sure in the localization, they made her a couple years older so that they could avoid the whole like pedophile feel to the end of the game.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and right there is just kind of a difference in cultures.
Yeah.
Right, right. Like I don't blame Leon for one thing because she's annoying and she's always, running off and dying like an
Yeah.
idiot or getting captured.
Although what's cool is that game, I think, that was the first game where you had like the whole, escort missions, right?
Yeah.
I think what's really cool about that is, again, just seeing how the game evolved, right? You look at, like, it started out on GameCube where, like, you have a second character that basically just follows you around and you have to defend her. She's totally helpless. And then you get to the next, game where they introduced it, only they changed it up where, the person following you around now actually can do some shooting, can do some firing, you switch which one. It's Resident Evil 5, right?
Yep.
You can switch which one you are at the time, but for the most part, right, it's still like a single player game unless you play it in co-op. And then, oh, by the way, here's a co-op where you both can play split screen, same time, same mission, same level. So I thought it was really cool to see how, Resident Evil 4. I always went back and forth on whether or not I really liked the fact that Ashley was there and whether it added to the game or just made it kind of annoying in some spots. But if that had to be done as a prototype for giving us the gameplay in 5, I'm totally happy. It's kind of neat to see that what maybe was a gimmick was able to turn into a major gameplay element that pushes 5 over 4 in my favorites list.
All right, real quick, Ashley was about 20 in that game.
In our version?
In 4.
In 4, yeah.
Because apparently that's...
No way.
Because
what was she in the Japanese version? She couldn't have been 20 in the Japanese version.
that's apparently from... The source has it as Biohazard 4. So obviously that's the Japanese version.
Huh.
She did not act like any 20-year-old.
No, I worry about the
She was
fate of
in
the
college,
generations.
now that I remember. In the game.
The ladies I met in college did not act like her.
Leon, help!
Leon!
Ugh. God, I was already getting annoyed just thinking about her. Like, wouldn't it have been better if Dana followed Leon instead of Ashley the whole time?
But because of that, we were able to get Shiva in Resident Evil 5, so it was worth it.
Yeah, Shiva was cool. I liked her.
Shiva was badass.
And did you know that you could look up Ashley's skirt?
Well, yeah, in that one section where you actually played as her, you had to crawl under tables and whatnot. So
No,
Yeah.
I mean, as Leon, there's one part where whenever there's a high ledge and where you have to press whatever button to have her jump down, if you
yeah,
take out your gun and look up,
there it is.
she'll go back and call you a pervert.
And yet, at the end, she still wants to, get with him.
Game winners.
Well, I think it's a bit of Stockholm syndrome, though, right?
Perhaps. Who
I
knows?
think it's a I'm stuck with you. I don't want to be your creep. I don't know you. You saved my life half a dozen times. You're the only person I've had to talk to or cry to, right? I think it's kind of that. Like,
Right.
she just got Stockholm syndrome. She was the president's daughter too, right? In that,
Yep.
The U.S. president's daughter.
the U.S. president's daughter.
Who was-
Now, wasn't there a?
It was because she was overseas on a homecoming trip. What?
Yeah, that's about right. No, she was. I can't remember how it was. She was walking home from school or something, and she got. Yeah.
Wasn't there a survival horror game
Oh God!
where
for
the president is
the
a
quote
zombie
they have
and you
for the
have to
Resident
shoot
Evil
him?
wiki is "Leon, help."
That's funny.
It's right now. Ashley Graham is the daughter of the U.S. president during the events of Resident Evil 4, and is kidnapped by a mysterious organization during a homecoming trip.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Cool. Good
Wasn't
times.
there a
He's in
wasn't
college.
there a survival? Go ahead.
No, I'm just kind of setting something up.
Well, before we
Wasn't
get to
there a
that, Dash
survival-
V, we are about 2 minutes until 10:30, so we should probably be trying to wrap this puppy up. So, what was the game you were thinking of, real quick, though?
No, I was wondering, like, wasn't there a survival horror game where the president was a zombie and you had to shoot him in the head?
No, that
Was that a Resident Evil game, or was that a movie I'm
actually
thinking of?
that was kind of part of the whole story for Leon's campaign, because I believe it's at the beginning where the zombie outbreak's happening and where the president turns.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Which game was that?
6.
That was 6. Okay.
Yeah, you don't actually fight the president.
Oh, you don't actually shoot him. It's like a cutscene or something.
Yeah.
Because I remember that generating a lot of controversy too when that came out. I wonder if it was the same president that had the daughter. What was it?
No, I just looked it up, and where it says that he's still alive.
Okay.
Hmm.
Interesting. So I got to get caught up on the series. I skipped it because of the gameplay mechanics and stuff, but maybe I'll give them a try for story.
You know what? One thing I can say about Resident Evil 6, at least you can move and shoot.
Oh, what a novel idea.
It only took 2 decades, but now we have the technology.
Exactly.
You can move and shoot at the same time.
Actually, something to say about Revelations again. Sorry to keep going back to that one, but you can actually choose between the RE4 tank controls, or you can use the more modern move and shoot controls, actually. So
Oh, that's interesting.
you can actually give yourself an extra hardness level to it.
Cool. Very cool.
Nice.
Well, my friends, I have learned a lot about a series that I thought I knew some about, but apparently there's more to it than I thought. I'm definitely going to be checking out Revelations soon. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, me too. You
Yep.
convinced me.
So, I guess we can do our usual plugs now. As you all know, we met on VG Collect, so definitely check out that site, vgcollect.com. And check out what else. Go ahead and say it. I know you want to.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, I believe we also
No.
have.
I don't know why we have Instagram. That's a weird one to me.
I just think that
That
was.
makes no sense to me. That's like us having a Pinterest.
Yeah, like why? Exactly. But yes, we are on Facebook. We are on Twitter, and obviously we're on YouTube. So, tell us what you like about Resident Evil, what you don't like, that sort of thing. And yeah.
And I'm trying to start to stream a little bit on the channel, so come check those out.
Oh yeah. Check out Red Blaze's stuff.
Yeah, I was able to
That's
stream.
before we get takedown notices forcing us to remove it.
The Shadow Warrior 1 was because of a song that plays in it. And unfortunately, the only place you can't view that video is in Germany because of that one song that plays for 1-2 minutes, maybe. Which, of course, is You Got the Touch. Or The Touch, that's all.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, everyone, thank you so much for watching. And next week, we will be talking about another great survival horror series, and I cannot wait to dive into it, but you'll have to stay tuned to see what it is. So, Red Blaze?
Rayman.
What? Yeah, it's Rayman. Yeah, spoiler alert, it's Rayman. Yeah, those games are so scary, I can't sleep at night. Red Blaze, you ready for us to go unlive here?
Yeah, might as well, I guess.
All right, well, have a good night, everyone, and we will see you soon.
Peace.
Peace.
Later.